Hello, everyone. This is Anna Pacheco with SantaFe101.com. My guest today is a realtor whose expertise happens to be Cibola County, and she's situated in Grants, New Mexico, and she is with Remax. Uh, do I have your permission, Heather, to record this interview?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so again, before I even hit the record button, you were saying that Cibola County is such a big county. So tell me how big it is or why you're not able to service the entire county.
Well, shoot, it is a square mile wise, it's a very big county actually, and I don't have that data off the top of my head to provide the actual physical size of Cibola County. As far as the population, it is a relatively small population, but it's a very large land area.
And then how many people live in Cibola County?
Roughly 25,000.
25,000. And in the city of Grants, which is the county seat, how many people are in Grants, New Mexico?
About 13,000.
About 13,000. You actually live in Grants.
I do.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about the average, the median cost of a home in Grants, some of the trends that you're seeing, your experience, during this COVID lockdown. What's it like right now to be a realtor in your area?
So in the last year or so, sales prices have increased. Our median priced home is about $137,000 right now. And probably 2 years ago, you were looking at more like 110,000. Our average days on market has been in the last 2 to 5 years, anywhere from 180 to almost 210 days on the market. That is dropping as well. We're looking more at about 130 days on the market right now. So that's changed heavily. And our available listings has also changed. What we have for available inventory is dropping as well.
And is that because what I'm hearing from some of the counties in New Mexico is that, because of COVID, I mean, people want to move here, but a lot of people who may have been thinking about retiring, in Arizona or something, everything's kind of at a standstill while we try to ride through this pandemic crisis. Is that what you're seeing there as well?
As far as people moving out or moving in?
Yeah, so that you'd have more inventory. Are people just kind of staying put for right now?
I don't see that being the case in Cibola County. I do feel like there is a heavier number of people moving in. I believe that we have more rural properties available that people have chosen to look into as a result of COVID. I think they're sick of being in the big city. They want their freedom, they want their space, and they want to be away from people right now.
And so some of these rural properties, like how far out of town are they?
You're looking anywhere from 5 or 10 minutes to 30, 40, almost an hour, that can encompass all of Cibola County. It can take you up to an hour and 20 minutes to get to parts of Cibola County.
And then some of these parcels of land, do they already have houses on them, or are people just buying plots of land and building houses? What are you seeing there?
I would say a little bit of both. The interest in vacant land has increased, but mostly people are intending more for a property with a residence already on the property.
And is there a high number? Are they available?
It's reducing. The number of available rural listings has reduced. They are selling pretty quickly.
And what would the cost of just land, no house on it? Like what would are they selling like 10-acre plots or what are the size of these rural properties that may be available or are coming available?
So it varies tremendously. We have a lot of national forest, we have a lot of reservation land, and we have a lot of ranch property. So we do not have as much as we are a large land area county, we don't necessarily have a lot of available land. So you're looking at anywhere from 1 to 2 acre parcels up to 40-acre parcels, and sometimes like right now I have an 800-acre parcel. list it.
And what would 1 to 2 acres cost, more or less?
15 to 20,000, kind of depending on the location and if services are available or need to be obtained on the property.
And then this 800-acre piece of land that you have, what does that cost?
It's listed at 220,000 right now.
That sounds like a lot of land to me. What would somebody do with that much space? You know, would they have cattle on it, or?
You could run a few cows on it. You could, just move on to the property and live and occupy. And it's actually not very far from grants. And so, the only challenge like on this one is that it does not have any available services at this point in time.
And available services mean water, electricity, roads.
Correct.
Can you get to the property? That's one of the things I find out. Sometimes people are selling this land. It sounds too good to be true, and it's a great piece of land, perhaps, but then you can't get to it. You have no access.
So this property specific does have legal access. It does not currently have physical access. So you would have to do a gate from the highway. So you'd need to get an agreement with the highway department to put a gate and access off of the highway to the property and build a road to get to this property.
And then what about water? You have to dig a well?
Yep, you'd have to drill a well.
And then
solar would be your electric option at this point. I believe it's too far from utility poles to bring in electric.
So I'm sorry, you're saying solar powered electricity?
That would be my guess.
Okay, and is that pretty common out or popular out in your area? I mean, do people depend on alternative types of energy for electricity?
It's becoming more common. Just in the last few years, I think solar has definitely started to pick up in our area. Most people would rather tie into the grid than do solar. I think probably because it might be cheaper. But in this scenario, it may not be cheaper.
Well, I guess the nice thing about New Mexico is that we probably have, I'd say 320, maybe 330 days of sunshine a year, the entire state.
Yes, I would agree.
So in terms of solar, I mean, that's not going to be a problem. You're going to definitely get, you're going to get the source is going to come from our beautiful, wonderful sunny skies. But is there a way, I don't know much about this, but is there a way to, like, can you store some of this so that you don't use it all at once, or do you have a backup, or what would happen? I mean, like, at least, like, I know with electricity, a lot of like hospitals and stuff, you can have a generator as a backup if something happens. What happens with solar?
Right. I know some people are doing generators for backup, and they can be, run by propane or diesel, whichever fuel source you choose to use. But
so that's an option if you have solar. So is there such thing as you can just run out of it, or how does that work, or do you know?
I'm not familiar enough with solar to know enough about it. I'm sure, if you have an extended period of poor weather, you may run low on power source.
And are you seeing any kind of wind generated energy sources out there? I know in parts of southern New Mexico, that is becoming more popular.
There's a wind generating station that is on the eastern side of Cibola County. I believe it feeds into the grid. I don't know much about it, except that you can see it from the interstate.
But that's just good to know that if people are looking, or they're watching this interview about Cibola County, there's two different alternative energy sources, because some people are really interested in trying to get away from fossil fuels and all that thing. And so New Mexico does provide those types of opportunities. In terms of architecture, again, I mean, it's been a while since I've been to Grants, but do you have like some of these old adobe houses that we have up here in northern New Mexico?
Not as many as northern New Mexico. There are some older adobe homes, a lot of them built in like the 1940s to 1960s. They're not as common these days. There are some people kind of pursuing the, like what Taos would have, the earthship homes, with the straw bale construction, some recycled material type stuff. There's a few people that are doing that in the county, but it hasn't taken off quite like it has in northern New Mexico.
And then what about, are there new housing developments? Are there areas where you could be in Grants itself, and there's like a new block on a new housing development where there's going to be blocks and where little kids will play and that type of thing?
So we do have some subdivisions, but they are not actively building them out at this point in time. Grants is really trying to grow. So our cost of construction at this point exceeds the average square foot of even a nice newer well-built home with a great piece of property. Cost of construction exceeds what our resale values are right now.
But what does that mean? So you're saying it's more expensive to build a house. You're not going to get your money back on it. You can't get the return on it.
Not immediately. That would definitely take some time to recover.
And why is that? Is there just a shortage of builders out there, or what does that have to do?
Probably cost of materials and just our average sale price. So our price per square foot right now for a high-end home is ranging anywhere from about 100 to 120 a square foot. And that's going to include, really nice updates, well-maintained, fully landscaped, kind of the whole package. And you're looking at getting a very nice home for about 100 to 120 a square.
Well, I'm telling you, hearing this living here in Santa Fe, that sounds like a bargain to me.
Right? I mean, I don't know very many places in the United States you can get that good of a deal. But.
Yeah, and so are people coming in from California? Are you seeing people moving in that are just tired of the big cities and they can work remotely and they're gonna lay down stakes in Grants?
Yes. So people who can work remotely, I know of a family who bought a house way out of town, about 40 minutes from Grants. And they have a son who is going to law school, and he's doing it all online from their rural property 40 minutes south of Grants. So there's lots of remote opportunity people that are coming in to take advantage of New Mexico and the land of enchantment. There's people coming in. We have a lot of retirees that seem to be coming in. We have a really good hospital here in Grants, and then we're an hour from the hospitals in Albuquerque. So if you need to go see a specialist or get to the heart hospital or anything like that, we have, we're easy access.
Well, you're right on I-40, correct?
Yes, that's
and
correct.
So I had forgotten that you're basically just an hour from New Mexico's right. largest city. So for people that are that are concerned about medical care, and if they are retirees, that is an option. But in terms of people might wanting to retire in Grants, are there services for senior citizens there? Do you have a senior citizen service, a center? Do you have like bus transportation, that type of thing? We have that here in Santa Fe. So I'm just curious.
Yeah, so I believe we do have a senior center, and I know they do lunches and stuff, and I believe they do have a little bus transportation that can pick seniors up and they can go and do the lunch. I'm not exactly sure what kind of activities that they have done. Probably a lot less right now because of COVID.
Well, of course, yeah, we're right now for everybody.
Right. But in the past, I'm not real familiar with what kind of activities they've had.
Okay, but I guess a really good selling point is, now that I think of it, is really the fact that you're so close to Albuquerque. And then in terms of, are you seeing younger families moving in with kids? Or is there Little League, or is there a community there where, younger people could raise a family and they feel right at home?
Absolutely. So I have two kids. One is in high school and one is still in elementary school. And we do have all kinds of community sports available for the kids. And some of them are on leagues, they play on little, their league basketball or league, football, where they're traveling, the traveling team type stuff. But they also have the city sports as well. So lots of activities for the kids, basketball, volleyball, soccer, football, 4-H. It's kind of a well-rounded opportunity for the kids to do things. We have a dance studio, lots of different opportunities.
And do you have major retail outfits out there? I mean, can you shop there, or do you have to drive to Albuquerque to shop, or?
So as far as retail goes, we have a lot of small business. We don't have much as far as, retail stores to do like your clothing, clothes shopping or anything like that. It's mostly small business type stuff, mom and
Well,
pop shop.
good. You don't have the big box stores there.
No, we have a Walmart. We have
Okay,
a Walmart.
but you don't have a Home Depot or a Sam's Club or, well,
No,
that's actually a selling point for many people who are coming from these bigger places and they're they want to kind of go back to their childhood or something. It's kind of like going 50 years back in time. Um, in Cibola County, so there's Grants, that's the county seat, that's where you live, that's where, it's kind of like moving there would be, everything's pretty established. What are some of the other areas in the county that people are looking at? Or I don't even really know, I don't know much about Cibola. What are other like communities there, like that people
so
might consider moving to?
in my personal opinion, I was born and raised in the Denver area. I've lived here for 19 years. So in my opinion, I kind of feel like Cibola County is a hidden gem. Uh, the thing about us is you do have to get out and you do have to explore. So we have like the La Ventana Arch. We have lots of different communities and outdoor, recreation type stuff that is really amazing that you get to take advantage of. So we have El Moro, which is it's a national monument, but also there is a community in that area, and they have like a little coffee shop, a little feed store, a little restaurant, an RV park. We are, you got to get through Cibola County to get to Rama, New Mexico. That's a beautiful area. There's a fishing lake near Rama. We have Blue Water Lake you can go fishing at. For anybody who likes to fish, we have tiger muskie in Blue Water Lake. And I've heard it's a bunch of fun to fish for tiger muskie. We have, all the hiking, camping, four-wheeling. It's a very big outdoor life area. So you can really take advantage of the outdoor lifestyle if you really want to. Amazing trails to go hiking. Lots of people who bike along trails. Some of them are a little primitive, but they're working on that. I think it's the Continental Divide Trail Alliance or something like that that's working on improving some of the trails in the forests.
You mentioned the Continental Divide. Tell me about that.
Continental Divide?
Yes.
As far as what?
Well, in terms of where is it in proximity to Grants, where is it located?
Mostly along the western and southern edge of the county lines, and it's just kind of it doesn't have anything specific to it except for that it is the Continental Divide.
And aren't the San Mateo Mountains the mountains in Grants? Am I correct there?
No, we have the Zunies and we have Mount Taylor. So the Zuni Mountains and Mount Taylor. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then how far are you from native land? I mean, what is the closest Indian Pueblo to you? How far are you from Zuni? Because I know Zuni is the furthest west of all the Pueblos in New Mexico.
Zuni is the furthest south from us. So
okay, well, I'm in Santa Fe, so it's west.
Yes, okay, so yeah, okay. West for you, south for me. Okay. So I guess our closest reservation would be Acoma, but we do have Acoma, Laguna, and the Navajo reservations all in our county. And then the Zuni reservation is south, and it's just over the border into McKinley County.
And that's why that's why, although it's a really big county, that not all that land is available. And I always tell listeners that it's kind of a bittersweet thing for New Mexico. We have, we're the 5th largest state landmass wise, but we'll never have the urban sprawl of a Denver or a Phoenix or a Dallas, because the land, if it's not Native American, if it doesn't belong to the Native American, the Indian Pueblos of New Mexico, then it's BLM land, and it's federal land. So that's kind of like one of the advantages of coming to New Mexico. I think the statistic is we have 17 people per square mile living in there's a few states that have even less, but we have a lot more going on in terms of culture and history. You were saying that there's a couple of areas that are just too far in Cibola County, so you don't service those areas. What are there like where is that? Is it closer to McKinley County, or where do you kind of stay away from just because it's too far for you?
So kind of the far southeast portion of the county, which is going to be like Fence Lake. There's kind of a little area called Candy Kitchen. Those areas I don't try to pursue very heavily, just because it is a long distance commitment for me at this point in time.
And are they bordering another county? Are they close to which county?
I believe McKinley to the south, I believe, and I do not know who is to the east, to be perfectly honest with you, in that portion of the county.
Okay. And then in terms of, we're getting close to the end of the interview. In terms of what are you seeing in terms of like trends? You're saying that grants is trying to grow. What is the city council doing, or what are you to help grow the community? What are some of the things that are going on right now?
So honestly, I think sometimes I feel like grants is growing in spite of itself. We do face several challenges in grants, economically speaking. So we did have a power plant that was recently shut down. It was a coal-fired power plant. It did recently shut down. So we lost some jobs with that situation, and then we had a refinery. A gas refinery that was also shut down, and that was actually in McKinley County, but it did have several employees that lived and worked here, lived here in Cibola County. So even with those shutdowns, I was very concerned. That was about a year ago that they announced the shutdown of the power plant, and I was very concerned how our county would do and how we would respond, as far as, mostly as far as housing goes, because sometimes people decide that the best option for them is to sell out and leave. And some people did. But I have not seen an increase in housing. In fact, I've seen a decrease in available housing. So I do think that sometimes grants is growing in spite of itself. I think the city is definitely trying. The Chamber of Commerce is really trying to do a big push for businesses and bringing in business and keeping it a shop local. We're doing a big shop local campaign. So I think grants really truly is getting discovered more than anything, and people are figuring out how to either stay or how to come and make a living, whether it's by remote or if they're retiring and coming. We just seem to be growing.
Yeah, I think it is a hidden gem. Do you have, in terms of rentals, do you have a lot of rental property available?
So I do not do property management. I always keep a list of people who have rentals here in town. Most people don't advertise their rentals. It is a very high demand rental town, so they don't really have a need to advertise. But like I said, people that I know of, that I'm aware of, I'm kind of familiar with either them or their properties. I keep a list and either email or hand out that list as people come see me or call me for information.
So if people were watching this video and they might want to give grants a try, but they don't want to, put in the investment of buying a home
Yes.
yet, would they find someplace maybe to live for a while, just to try it out?
Yes, it's a high demand rental town. So it's hard to be, if you know that you're going to be coming to grants, I would start looking at least a couple of months in advance and be prepared to take something when you know it's coming up or going to be available.
Okay, so we're at the end of the interview. Is there any parting words of wisdom? Of course, I'm going to have your contact details, with this video so people can reach out to you. But is there anything you want to leave us with?
Again, I feel like Cibola County is truly just a hidden gem. We are more than meets the eye. Grants is in some ways it's a cute little town, but you got to give us a chance, really. We look probably a little more depressed of a community than we really are. I often have people coming in from out of town, and they love to tell me how nice everybody is. And it's very refreshing to hear that. I am so glad to hear that our community is just so nice to newcomers. We
Well,
love it.
and for everybody's listening out there, although Santa Fe, which is my hometown, has become like a mini LA, everybody's from somewhere else. As soon as people get here, I guess it must be the high altitude or something in the air. Everybody becomes very nice. There's I
Yes.
mean, all over the state. That's one of in addition to all our incredible beauty and resources, we're just nice people.
Mhm. Absolutely. I agree.
Well, again, thank you for for shedding some light on Cibola County in Grants, New Mexico, and we'll be in touch. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Take care.